Flashpoint, Minneapolis. Alex Jeffrey Pretti shooting by ICE may spark civil war. The fatal shooting of Alex Jeffrey Pretti, a 37-year-old ICU nurse and U.S. citizen, by federal agents in Minneapolis has pushed the United States to a dangerous precipice. Occurring just weeks after the killing of Renee Nicole Good by Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agents, the death of Pretti is no longer being viewed as an isolated law enforcement incident. Instead, it has become the primary catalyst for a direct, high-stakes confrontation between the Trump administration and the state of Minnesota, a conflict that many analysts warn could be the opening salvo of a modern American civil war. The incident: a caregiver killed on the streets. On the morning of January 24, 2026, Alex Pretti was shot and killed during a federal immigration enforcement operation in South Minneapolis. Pretti, a veteran VA nurse known for his dedication to patient care, was reportedly attempting to assist protesters when he was confronted by federal agents. While the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, quickly issued a statement claiming the agent acted in self-defense against an armed individual, video evidence has cast severe doubt on this narrative. A CNN analysis of multiple video angles appears to show a federal officer successfully disarming Pretti before the fatal shots were fired. This discrepancy has fueled accusations of extrajudicial execution by federal forces operating within state lines. Federal overreach versus state sovereignty. The political fallout has been immediate and explosive. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has emerged as the leading voice of state resistance, calling the DHS's self-defense claims nonsense and lies. The governor's refusal to accept the federal narrative has created a constitutional crisis, as state authorities and federal agents now find themselves in a state of mutual hostility. The Trump administration has responded with escalating rhetoric, accusing sanctuary politicians like Walz of inciting violence against federal officers. President Trump has previously hinted at invoking the Insurrection Act to quell civil unrest in Minnesota, a move that would effectively place the state under military control and bypass local governance. Why this could spark a civil war? The civil war narrative is no longer confined to the fringes of political discourse. Several factors make the Pretti shooting a unique and potent flashpoint. 1. Direct confrontation. Unlike previous instances of civil unrest, the current crisis features a state government, Minnesota, actively challenging the legitimacy and truthfulness of federal law enforcement operations. 2. The Renee Good precedent. The shooting of Renee Good earlier this month established a pattern of federal violence that has unified local opposition. The Pretti shooting is seen as the breaking point for a population that feels under siege by its own federal government. 3. Militarization of enforcement. The use of Border Patrol agents for domestic enforcement in the interior of the country has been characterized by critics as the creation of a federal paramilitary force unaccountable to local laws. 4. National Guard activation. With the National Guard already activated in Minneapolis, the potential for a blue-on-green conflict, where state-controlled Guard units face off against federal agents, is a nightmare scenario that many fear is becoming a reality. Predictions: a nation on the edge. As protests spread from Minneapolis to other major cities, the outlook for 2026 remains grim. If the Trump administration proceeds with the Insurrection Act or continues its aggressive crackdown without state cooperation, the following outcomes are predicted. Secessionist rhetoric, increased calls for state nullification of federal immigration laws, leading to a fragmented legal landscape. Escalating violence, continued clashes between protesters and federal agents, with a high risk of further fatalities. Constitutional standoff, a Supreme Court battle over the limits of federal power within states that refuse to cooperate with immigration enforcement. The death of Alex Pretti has become more than a tragedy for a Minneapolis family. It is a symbol of a nation divided by fundamental disagreements over the rule of law, state rights, and the limits of federal power.